There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for adults with migraine with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents, on average, 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Ask your doctor and visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Yeah, we got to go to the bank.
Actually, I should. So yesterday at 3:58 p.m.
Yes.
Just as the second half of the Chiefs-Bengals game was to begin,
Yes.
I texted a kid I used to have and I said, Kansas City's arrogance in refusing to take 3 points at the end of the first half will prove to be their undoing. And at the very end of the game, I just texted him and said, I rest my case.
Yes, you was very astute on your part.
Why did they not kick the field goal?
And it never got out of Mahomes' head. He played the rest of the game.
That's right.
Worried about
That's right.
3 point. How did I make that stupid pass
Right.
instead of just throwing it at his feet with 2 seconds to go? And
Kick a field goal.
Never got over it. Yes, you're right. Arrogance, because you're getting the ball to start the second half.
That's right.
You don't, kick a nice field goal, keep them on their. They haven't stopped you the whole game.
The vibe was, we're the Chiefs. We're going to just put one in here.
We're going to really make it. We're going to embarrass them.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid, offensive genius in a lot of ways. He could screw up a one-car parade in some of those big games.
You think that was his call?
Well, he's the one that told him not to kick the field. I mean, he can send in the kicker, right?
Yeah, that's true.
What? There's 5 seconds left. Why get smart?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, too, because I heard that Mahomes told Reed, let's go for it here. And Reed said, all right, I guess we're going to go for it here. You know, trust. But here's what I love about, and I'm not anti-analytics by any means, but momentum is one thing that you cannot. Analytics can't give you a graph on what to do here on fourth down. The whole momentum shifted to Cincinnati's side.
When you get the ball with under 2 minutes to go, and somebody gives you says you can have a field goal here, you take it.
You take it.
You don't end up. 5 seconds isn't 7 seconds, maybe, but 5 seconds is not enough to screw around with.
No. And I don't want to tell the NFL how to do things, but if I'm the NFL, I make every halftime show. Like what was that abomination on
wasn't
CB?
that something?
Oh my God!
What was it?
You could hear
so they had a live performance by Walker Hayes,
so I didn't
fancy
watch
like.
it.
Fancy like. They were,
Who's fancy like?
He's a flash in the pan, but his song is very popular. But Pat,
here you'll know the song, Pat. When I play it.
The four of them, it's Boomer. The CBS
trying
crew
to talk
on the
and they're
field,
right next to the
and
band.
it's so
This is what you
loud
heard.
you couldn't hear each other. This is gonna go well. But put it to your microphone.
Who's dancing? You?
Yeah, Jim, I think Kansas City's decision did it.
And it was just blaring.
I got news for you. I wouldn't know the song if I heard it.
Well, this is just one of the kids dance.
So Boomer Esiason is livid because, I guess one of you just said something about Cincinnati, and they couldn't hear each other. It was fantastic.
But the wonder of sports was revealed to us in that game, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes was what he is, the best quarterback on the face of the earth for one half, and then he turned into Christian Ponder. It was ungodly rotten. There, you cannot convince me that he had no open receivers the rest of the game. But he ran around like a complete idiot.
On that one play when he was sacked, he had time.
He was bailing out.
First half, he gave you one of his side slingers.
Oh, God, he was just, you're right. It was arrogance.
Yep.
It was arrogance.
I would have loved to have written that.
And you know, the nickname of Joe Burrow in the clubhouse refers to his amount of manhood.
Okay.
You know?
The swimsuit area.
And I don't think it's because of just the actual physical attribute. It's the way he approaches the game. Oh. And he showed that yesterday. He is one cool dude.
He is so easy to root for.
A week earlier, he got sacked 9 times and still won the game. He damn near got killed, and he still won the game against the number 1 seed.
So what you're saying is he, like Charles Barr in high school, walks with confidence.
Yes, he does.
I'd like to say he walks with confidence.
More for performance on the athletic field.
Got it.
Then,
he had a great quote leading up to the game where someone, I don't know if it was a local radio interview or whatever, but he had said, I'm sick of us being referred to these underdogs. We're just as bleeping good as Kansas City. I thought, okay, this kid means business.
It's about Matthew Stafford proving that he can do it.
Well,
he
tried not to do it.
Well, the MVP of that game is Jimmy Garoppolo for the Rams.
The MVP of that game is the safety. They threw the ball to him, and he dropped it. I said earlier, I'm not a patient fellow. I wouldn't be a good coach because when that guy dropped the pass, I would have walked out and said, leave, you're being released, and we're not we collect $100 from the trainer and take a bus because we never want to see you again in the rest of our life. They win the game if he intercepts that pass.
Yep.
But Garoppolo is... to have him quarterback in 2 Super Bowls would have been phenomenal, right?
And then we would have had our 3rd title match between the Niners and the Bengals.
Yes, right. And, of course, the first Cincinnati-San Francisco title game
was at the Silverdome.
Where
I had a lax.
Where a porta bubble, a very noble machine,
computer,
met its demise.
It slipped.
Yes, it
right
slipped.
out the window.
What happened, Joe?
And I was there myself, and what made the slipping was unusual is there was a little ridge about 4 inches high.
Right.
That to kind of keep your stuff from falling down to the next level. But somehow it got away
over
from
that
the
ridge.
bubble.
Wow.
I actually, one of the few times in my life, I had semi-writer's block that game. It took me like an hour to get started. It never does. But I got jarred into action when I saw
thrown off your game.
When I saw what happened. No. That got me started.
That
got me started. I said, okay, it could be worse.
I think I heaved it at least 2 seconds.
What was it doing?
Backing up on me.
Yes.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working.
How did you
file?
file?
How the hell did I file?
Was it this deal?
Filed.
A phone coupler?
Yeah, the coupler went into the
the
porta
couplers.
bottle, yeah.
They had, there was a
one of my better moments.
There was an order to machines back then.
Yep.
If you had the porta bubble, you were from the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Minneapolis Star Tribune, or maybe the Atlanta Journal. If you had the Texas Instrument,
you were Pioneer
which was
Press.
like you were PP&D, you were the second string newspaper, and like the Rocky Mountain News was successful in Denver, and the Post was kind of a piece of crap then.
Right.
So you sat with the underlings.
Second class.
You could tell what your circulation was by whether you had the Texas Instrument, which was the worst machine ever, because it had 2 breasts on top of it, basically, that were just flapping at you. And you put the phone in there, it worked, and you had to carry your own rolls of treated paper.
to put in there. And if you
was fast.
And if you made a mistake, you had to back up to the point where you made the mistake and then retype the whole
Then
sentence.
we went. What were the Radio Shack ones called?
Trash 80 originally, and then the Trash 200, which was the 16 lines, which was paradise, as you know. We all went to that kind of even.
But I could write faster than the computer could put the letters on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
okay, so
and they were not backlit either, which if you were in the wrong area of the press box, you'd be going like this. Trying to get
January 24th of 1982 in front of a
What
crowd
was
of,
the final?
it was 26-21.
Well, Joe can tell you that people never had a harder time getting to an athletic event in history because there was an ice storm in Detroit, and half the crowd wasn't in the stadium when the game started.
Wow.
They were walking in.
What's the exclusive golf course in the Detroit area where some U.S. Open, I think, has been
Oakland
held?
Hills. No,
Oakland Hills.
Oakland Hills, yeah.
I think that Sid took a gang of us to Oakland Hills.
For dinner, huh? Yeah. He,
how do you get in?
I don't know.
Sid, man, he could get you in.
He knew people.
He knew people, and if he didn't know them, he could abuse them. I remember we were in Miami Super Bowl, which I think you were with them with the Jim Hawkins story. But a later one, we went to Joe Stone Crabs, and Sid was gonna, because he knew the guy was gonna get us in, but at Joe's, you had to give the guy at least $50 to, the maitre d'. And after an hour and a half, he said, we don't have to tip. After about an hour, there's about 8 of us, and after about an hour and a half, I said, all right, boys, give me a 20 apiece. And I went up and we sat down about 5 minutes. So. But
just to say you did it.
When you chucked when the device fell out
slipped.
of the press box,
it slipped.
How did it not kill anybody?
Well, they had actually big rows between seats there.
Oh,
no, I didn't do it with people in the stadium. This is after the game.
Okay,
no, but
gotcha.
there were guys writing in front of you.
Them.
You weren't in the front row.
I missed them.
You weren't enough to kill them.
Yes, you did. I'm trying to remember how you said
Heads up!
I think I might have phoned it.
Incoming!
Yeah, might have phoned it in and told them the machine stopped working. Yeah, you could do that.
It stopped working. It's in pieces in section 243.
We occasionally would dictate back then, which was, boy, that's an art, man.
Yeah.
Greatest dictator ever, Charlie Hallman.
Really?
Yep. Just boom. Because he started at AP, and they'd go to a murder and dictate.
On which side?
I can tell you another trivia
on
about
the
that
receiving
Super
side.
Bowl.
You're calling Hallman
Who
and
won
saying
that thing?
No,
Frisco?
Charlie covering a game. And
I can give you another
it.
trivia about that. Do you recall that a 49ers player had to take a leak, and so they all huddled around him, and he took the leak right on the field?
I can't
That
remember
happened during that game.
Really?
Yep.
But that was the 49ers were long shots that year too. They were not.
Because that was the beginning of their run.
That was the beginning of Bill
Who
Walsh.
was the Cincinnati quarterback?
Kenny
Anderson. The first
Oh
time.
my God, with the
Kenny
mustache.
Anderson the first time and Boomer the second time.
That's right.
Both times against San Francisco.
Yeah.
And,
That was Iggy
Was
Shuffle,
it Joe
wasn't
Montana for Frisco?
Yes.
Montana.
When did he
was
go to
just
Denver?
started.
Before that or
Oh
after
no,
that?
way after.
You mean
way
Kansas
after.
City?
Kansas City. Yeah, but he was in.
No, Joe Montana?
He
Went
was
to
in
Kansas
San
City.
Francisco for 15 years. He never went to Denver.
Who am I thinking
You're thinking of Peyton Manning.
No.
No.
I thought Montana went to Denver.
No.
Oh, I'm
never
thinking
went to
Elway. Never mind. I'm thinking
Elway. Yeah,
Elway.
he got drafted by them and was there. So, but Montana. They were kind of came out of nowhere, and Bill Walsh was, of course. Then they had their dynasty after that. So, but that Boomer team, that was the Icky Shuffle.
That was the Icky Shuffle, yep.
I went to that playoff game in Cincinnati against Fouts and Don
Chargers,
Coryell.
yep.
Yeah. The high-powered Chargers was the coldest game in the history of mankind. You can see these pictures of Fouts on Don Coryell on the sidelines and he's just the whole game he's saying, we had this great team. How in the hell did we end up here freezing our ass off? It was like 0 in Cincinnati. And on that water there, here's what's great about Cincinnati, Joe. They are the cheapest operation in the NFL. They still don't have a real practice facility. They practice underneath that bridge and down there on the water.
outdoors. And then they got a little tiny place. Mike Brown still runs them, Paul Brown's kid. Cheapo, won't spend anything on facilities, and they're back in the Super Bowl because they got the right quarterback.
Well, they had to spend a fortune for the quarterback, didn't they?
Well, they drafted him, not
yet. But next time around, yes, it's going to cost them some money.
He's going to have to dip into some of that NFL revenue money.
Wasn't he a first-round draft choice?
First overall.
First overall.
Yeah.
Well, that had to be worth what, $25 million?
And he won the national championship with LSU
and a Heisman.
Transfer from Ohio State.
Oh yeah.
They decided to keep somebody else. And,
in fact, someone put that on Twitter that at one time Ohio State had him, the kid that's Fields in Chicago, and that there was somebody else too.
They were both playing behind Hoskins. Right?
That's right. Yes, and Dwayne Haskins, who was with Pittsburgh. I can't remember if I don't even know if he's still in the league or not.
Wasn't he at DC?
But then they traded him to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He turned out to be a bust. This kid, I did a column on him when he was winning the Heisman because his father was the defensive coordinator at North Dakota State for a couple of years when he was like 6, 7 years old. And I've talked to some of the people. Jeff Kolpak from the Grand Forks, from the Fargo paper, had a good thing about how the coaches from back then talked about when he was 6 years old.
Yep.
They were saying in the hallway, they were saying, the kid's got the perfect motion, the kids are, and then they would argue, and then the one of the assistants was trying to sell it to you. This kid's going to be great. And they go, he's 7, the guy was saying. How the hell do you know?
Let him grow up.
Then I talked to Tim Miles, who was the basketball coach there, and he's been around as a basketball coach, Big Ten, Nebraska, and the places. And Joe Burrow was the MVP of his 7-year-old, of his youth
I believe
basketball.
You could see it that young.
Yeah, basketball. And he said, I was going to ask the next question, like, and did you see this? And he said, he was 7, and you can't see this, So anyway, but yeah, he's a cool dude, man. And
you can see it in that Tigers kid. He's going to be a pro if he wants to be.
Yeah, right. This guy was. His dad ended up. They ended up out in Ohio after they left. Fargo.
How about your Wild? What a nice trip to New York.
How many in a row now?
5.
They're 8-0-1 since they
5 or 6?
lost at Target Field. I believe I read that this
The
morning.
Avalanche have won 10 in a row.
And they can't catch the Avs.
No,
but they've got 3
the Avs
games.
have won 17 in a row at home.
But they have 3 games.
3 games in hand.
They're 10 points behind the Avs.
Yeah.
57-67.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
They just win. They're boring.
When are they going to start playing?
They
play at Chicago Wednesday.
The Olympic Hockey Week is now filled with games. They supposedly have 41 games and an 81-game stretch after the All-Star game. So they're going to have
41 games.
Listen, they
They're
play
gonna have
at Chicago Wednesday. Then through Sunday, they don't play.
I think the All-Star game's this weekend.
Oh.
Right? Is it
I don't
this
know.
weekend?
I don't know.
Can't remember.
I think it is. I don't pay any
look.
attention.
Hey,
to
our man
All-Star.
Kirk is going to go to the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
instead of Aaron
Enough
Rodgers.
guys.
That's thrilling.
Aaron bailed out. Kirk, he deserves it. Mm-hmm. One non-vaxxer replaced it. He's another one. That's good.
I knew
That's
that
right.
was.
It is Saturday, February 5th.
There's no doubt in my
Las Vegas.
mind that
They'll do it
Kirk's
right.
new popularity with a segment of Viking fandom is because he's a non-vaxxer.
Think so?
Yep.
Could be.
There's
I did see, though, however, when it was rumored and reported that Tom Brady might announce his retirement soon, that there was one local person that'll go nameless that said, if Brady retires and Rodgers is traded to the AFC, who in the NFC would you rather have than Kirk Cousins? That's quarterback. And I thought, boy, we're trying real hard, aren't we?
give me 5 minutes. I can come up with 6.
Right.
Anyway, and now of course we got the Harbaugh thing,
I don't want him.
right?
You? No.
If
Your
you're-
tweet was perfect, by the way, Pat. Harbaugh versus Thomason. Bring
Yes,
it on.
I can't wait for Chris Thomason to ask some of his. The man who never has the thought, Should I ask this question or not?
Let her rip, baby.
Let's go.
Let her
Throw
rip.
it up there. Throw it up there. Zim, he drove Zim crazy. Can you imagine what would happen with this control freak? But when I think of Jim Harbaugh, I don't think of collaboration or intentional decisions.
This is one way, my way.
Yes, and
Go get a young offensive
they're going to
coordinator
get.
from
He's
somebody.
not. They're gonna, this Kevin O'Connell, who's the Rams' offensive coach, is going to be the guy. I think
Over the Ryans defensive coordinator?
over
D'Amico Ryans?
Ryans. I think you want an offensive guy, don't you?
I think they need to rebuild the defense, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Well, look at the money they spend, though. I'll tell you this. You look at if you want to know where this franchise is headed. Cleveland spends twice as much money on offense than defense. The Vikings spent more money last year, even with Kirk, on defense than offense.
Really?
Yeah. They spent $80 million on defense, $74 million on offense. The other guys, it's like $110 million to $55 million for Cleveland. So if he's part of that brain trust, then you're going to spend your money on offense. A lot of people think they've really they gave too much money to Anthony Barr. They gave too much money to Smith. They gave
Daniil.
Daniil, obviously, that they got screwed on that deal with him getting
What do you
hurt all
think,
the
Rook?
time.
Too much?
I think too much. You can't, usually you go to the accountant and you say, hey, you open up the ledger. We need to give out $25 million out. I do have a question, a real question, though.
Yes.
Was it a big secret that Zim and Spielman didn't?
I don't think anybody knew how bad it was.
Okay.
I love,
You know,
though, that
they-
the
everybody
girlfriend got involved on
Yes.
Saturday.
And you know what my view of the girlfriend getting involved? Mm-hmm. For instance, I mentioned this earlier, but for instance, when Heather Fleck chose to go after the fans after the Bowling Green game on Instagram, when her spouse discovered this, said, take that down. And then Gopher Hole had it posted, but being the wimps they are, they took it down too at her request. Right. When Zim's girlfriend wants to put something on Twitter, she's got carte blanche. Baby.
Yep.
She's got carte blanche to do whatever she chooses.
What did she put? Was she
Rip
ripping
the hell
Spielman?
out of Spielman
Yeah.
for being a liar and a
Yeah.
non-communicator, and two posts, right? There were two.
Yes.
One followed.
trying to find it, actually.
Stop your PR campaign, Rick, and start telling the
Did
truth.
she include photos of herself?
Well, they're available.
Well, they're available, and I mean, there's the
Very attractive young lady.
You go down the rabbit hole on that one, I think, huh?
In fact,
Well, what's her name?
there's a publication called Maxim Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Maxim, you know Maxim. Not that you would ever have one of those around the house, but
No.
Maxim Europe, she was on the cover of that a while back.
Really?
And, yeah.
And you know what? I'd say
And
the
Zim-
photographer captured it.
Yes,
He
and
captured it.
And again, that's why Zim's not going to say take that down. Plus, Zim probably wanted her to do it.
Well, that's true. But then Spielman went on somebody's show and said,
He went on 2 or 3
Colin
shows.
Coward.
Well, he went on Coward. And
What's
he went
her
on-
name?
Her name is Katrina Elizabeth. I don't know if it's Mikatin or Mikatin.
You
Does
can
it matter?
find it.
Does it
Not that
matter?
I would do this, but
Right.
spell Katrina with an A.
I did.
Katarina, and then spell Mike Tin, Mike 10. And then hit
I'm not
image.
so sure
Then
you-
hit image.
I'm not so sure you don't have experience doing this.
Replying to
Convince
a
me.
post from
Then hit images.
Oh,
replying
that's
to
the
a
girlfriend. Huh?
Right.
Joe,
That's the missus is Zim
Yeah,
one, as
yeah.
Birdsey once said.
Is that the missus?
replying to a post from @Vikes Central where Rick Spielman was talking to Colin Coward, like we mentioned earlier. Katrina issued the following: "What about the GM having a relationship with the organization? ? Not talking to your coach for 3 months? ? Rick, backpedaling and spin have always been your game. You should be embarrassed by your media blitz of it wasn't my fault."
These
And then
pictures
there's
all
another
are
one.
modest.
There
I'm
was-
serious.
yes,
They're all
no,
modest.
she's not.
Very modest.
You're not digging very deep.
I'm not going to. It's
Okay.
not my cup of tea.
Okay.
Where do you go? with that?
Maxim
No,
Europe.
I'm not.
Maxim Europe.
All right.
Somebody just, I saw that on Twitter. I don't I don't do those things. But anyway, yes, she's got permission to.
I'll give her credit. She didn't delete them.
No, she
It's
didn't.
all still
Unlike
up there.
Heather, she didn't. Heather deleted them.
And the next image that I clicked on was you two when we did that event at
Jack's Cafe.
At Jack's Cafe.
Gross.
So a little contrasting
Yeah, that's a
photos
little
that I just
How did
explained.
that happen?
The Garage Logic account just posted knowing that, hey, another edition of Monday Night Sports Talk will be available later today.
Maxim Europe's a hotel chain.
No, it's a magazine, Joe.
Euro, maybe it's Euro.
Oh,
Whatever. Never mind.
Maxim is a.
Good luck to her and Jim. And I hope they're happy. And
Well,
everybody.
they're
She's the
probably back
breadwinner
in
now.
Kentucky.
the
Well, yeah, but
breadwinner?
Zim got a little bread to leave, I think.
Oh, did he get paid? He got
8, was it? How much was he making?
Wow.
Was he making 8?
Zim's
I
salary.
think so.
I think, yeah. One reason that
I don't think it's public, Rook.
Oh.
no, they don't have to reveal that.
Front office and coaches don't have to.
But it is interesting that the local house people for the Vikings, the media that kisses their purple arses, is suggesting that Jim Harbaugh is interested in the job because of his close relationship with Adolfo Mensa from both of them
because they were
being
in
at the
San Francisco.
49ers.
Okay.
Well, Adolfo, during the year and a half he was there, while Harbaugh was there before getting fired, was a manager in the research department.
Oh.
He was watching film and
You
stuff.
know what a manager is? No, he was doing research on blah, blah, blah. That's a glorified intern. That's what that is. I don't see Harbaugh as a guy walking down to the research
Hey,
office.
buddy, how are
Hey,
ya?
how you doing?
good to
Welcome
see
to
ya.
the show. But if he goes anywhere, it'll probably be Miami, since that Stephen Ross is a big Michigan guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, today they're interviewing that O'Connell, right? then
And
they got a
the
couple more.
defensive coordinator, too, for the Rams, Morris.
Now, here's my theory. St. Paul has built that wonderful soccer stadium,
Allianz Field.
Allianz Field. And we are so U.S. soccer is so dazzled by this that they are bringing a World Cup qualifier against mighty Honduras Wednesday night.
This Wednesday?
And I think you should be there.
I don't think so.
Because I think the projected low is only 8 below, I think, 6 below.
That's all the more reason I can't be
Yeah.
there.
That would just be.
Why are we doing this?
I have no idea.
We're better than Honduras. Everybody in Honduras is trying to walk through Mexico to get here.
Yeah, right.
You know, what are we doing?
Well, and not to mention,
This is not what Buzz Lagos and Manuel and Gerard were thinking about when they wanted soccer in Minnesota.
isn't the whole point of having an event like this to bring fans to your
Well,
stadium?
there's going to be fans there, but they're all going to leave at halftime when they're
The
frozen.
high Wednesday's 9 and the low is 3 below.
3 below. So it's warming up. The other day when I looked, it was 6 and 8 below or something.
Yeah.
Get yourself a nice $14 Surly and sit out
And
there
watch it
enjoy
freeze.
enjoy the game.
The whole country's cold right now.
Yeah. Well, Orlando, they were freezing.
You're at your estate. It was in the low 50s.
Really, yes. Well, the 24 hours of Daytona
Oh, yeah.
were like 35 degrees in Daytona when they were racing all night.
What was your tweet about that? That you'd
I was watching it and going around and around, and I said, if I was a drug fiend, remember when we used to call drug addicts fiends? Fiends. Drug fiend. If you took drugs, you were a fiend, right? If I was a drug fiend, this would be the event I'd want to go to, right?
The soccer event?
It's,
No, the car
the
race.
24 hours.
okay.
You sit up in a corner.
Yep.
You take your drugs, right? You smoke some weed.
Yep.
You nod off.
Yep.
Yep.
2 hours. You
haven't
wake
missed
up,
anything.
they're still going around. They did great. They're still. You wake up and say, hey.
What
They're
lap
still-
they on?
They're still going around.
are they on?
It doesn't make any difference because it's who's ever ahead after 24 hours.
That's true.
Whoever drove the farthest, I believe that's how it works.
Are you?
You know who was winning it? Cadillac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think they were big Sevilles like the Silver Cloud.
Right.
was.
No, I don't.
No. So,
Are you have any interest in these Olympics?
none.
Me neither. But now I'm reading they have no snow.
Oh, really?
But
It's
the
gonna be-
commies will make snow.
Yeah, well, it'll be like it was in Calgary. They had no snow either. We had to make the snow at the mountain there too because they got a Chinook, and when the Chinook comes in, it gets to be 60 degrees up there. If you're on the wrong side of the mountain,
I'm not real up on my Beijing geography.
I think you got to go a couple hours out of town to get to the mountain, though, right? Why did they go there?
Of course,
they were
this is
just
climate
there.
change.
They were just there for the summer games, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Why
2
did we
years
go
ago.
back?
I don't know. Well,
No,
why
not
even
2
give
years
them
ago.
an Olympics? They're a human rights violator of the highest order. Mm-hmm. Bleep them.
Well,
Right, and it's not as if people are going to flock to China to go to the Olympics every year. It's a destination.
they're not letting fans in.
2008 was the Beijing Summer Olympics.
that's
Already
too
that
soon.
far away?
I just remember the opening ceremonies was
Sid-
really cool. For the
Sid
Beijing.
wanted to have the Olympics here, man. The Winter Olympics. We got to have the
on.
Winter
Oh, yeah.
Olympics.
Buck
I
Hill.
kept saying Buck Hill might not, Buck Hill might not do it, Sid.
Could we go to Lutzen? Is that too
I
far?
drove by Buck Hill the other day. I was going down to Northfield. It's amazing. We've had like 5 Olympians come on, who learned how to ski on this molehill. It's incredible.
this.
It takes you like 30 seconds to get out.
A U.S. rights monitor raised the alarm Monday over athlete safety at China's upcoming Winter Olympics after the host authorities threatened punishment for anti-Beijing comments. The Congressional Executive Commission on China, a group of Washington lawmakers and White House officials, asked U.S. Olympic authorities for an urgent effort to protect their sports stars' free speech rights. In other words, you wouldn't
You
work
can't
there.
say-
You and I would not get along there. We'd rip something. We're going to jail.
Yeah, so they don't want the writers to say, boy, is this a mess.
You're right.
Yeah. Oh, if you're covering it, you can go to a hotel. You can go to an event and stay in a very secluded area.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back to the work area, and you can go back to the hotel. You can't go out and see the city at all.
The commission spoke out after Yang Shu, a senior official in the Beijing Organizing Committee, told an online briefing January 18 that any behavior or speech that is against the Olympic spirit, especially against Chinese laws and regulations, are subject to certain punishment.
Wow.
Get me the hell out of there.
Yes, God.
How is Lavelle going to handle not going
Not
anywhere
going
but his
anywhere.
hotel room?
Does Lavelle have to go?
Lavelle is
He
going.
left already, I heard.
He left Saturday, and they're getting there Tuesday.
Oh, my God.
Joe.
Is he walking?
No, I know. They probably must have
He's
stopped.
taking Greta's boat.
Must have stopped in Hawaii or some damn thing. But it's 14 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what you do. It's what time is it now? 1?
2 o'clock.
That
2:08.
That means it's 2 o'clock
It's
a.m. there.
4 a.m. in the morning
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
Because 12 hours.
4 a.m. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
screwed
14.
that up. I was trying to subtract 10 hours.
Right.
You got to subtract 10 hours from, but you got to go back 10 hours and basically, and then remember it's tomorrow.
Right. Or,
it's tomorrow.
you subtract 10 or you add 14.
I don't want to add 14.
Okay,
I think
got
10's easier.
So is that good for deadlines or bad?
Well, it's good for deadlines, but nobody's going to read it because they know what happened. I loved Sydney as a place because the Aussies are just a bunch of smart asses. Right. They're funny and they love to drink and they're great. But it was terrible because it was 15 hours or something and you're writing stuff. I was doing a radio hits at 7 a.m. on stuff that I'd covered and writing that, and it appeared in print the next day.
Good Lord.
Yeah, because they said, well, try to write ahead. Well, they don't exactly at the Olympics say, hey, I'd like to sit down with Bill over here for an hour and write a little.
I think the Olympics I got to cover seriously were the last truly quaint Olympics.
Lake Placid.
Yeah, they were quaint.
And then they started to step up their game with.
And that
they
summer,
more-
I was set to go to Russia, but Jimmy Carter pulled the
that's
plug
right.
on us. But I think Lake Placid was the last truly charming games. It was before all the bleep has hit the fans.
My first Winter Olympics was Calgary.
Yep.
What's that? Was that
88.
88. No, 84. Wonger and I went to L.A. 84. That was
summer.
Reusse wasn't there, but that was summer. But Calgary, was the first one where they went to 16 days instead of 10.
Yeah.
They had a 10-day Winter Olympics. Well, they still had events for 10 days, but they wanted 3 weekends because of what they played. There were days where there was nothing happening, and they'd go up to the hill, and they'd have this homemade snow and then gravel around it. It was terrible.
What's the one where you sat on the chairlift worrying about your...
Yes, I was worried about my seatmate. Because fat-ass journalist squishes ballet skier to death.
Where was that? It wasn't Calgary.
Was Calgary.
Oh, it was Calgary?
Yeah, because there's nothing going on.
So how about this ballet? I
think she might have been from Wisconsin, which was the closest angle we could get.
How am I going to crush you?
We're sitting there, and I'm trying not to wiggle.
No, you can't move.
Because, I'm full figured there. And any little jerk.
Oh, no. Stop rocking. And you have to tell yourself
and
that.
This woman, she was really trying to be nice, but she had this look of terror in her face, She at least got to ski down the hill. I had to ride back down myself. So
stop rocking.
Oh my God!
This was like an advance on ballet. That was Eddie the Eagle and the Jamaican bobsled team and all that crap. But it was brutal. You know who else was there? I believe Grace Kelly's kid.
Oh, yeah?
Was
Whoever that is.
riding the bobsled.
But it had to be beautiful country.
The Prince of Monaco was riding.
They were always, all those people were bobsledders.
Bobsledders, which is you just hang on
like
and
croquet.
steer. Yeah, right. You hang on and steer. I was that wasn't the year Herschel was trying to be a bobsledder, was it? He was.
So get this now. If a Chinese figure skater throws his partners into the penalty box, like I've seen happen, you can't rip them? You can't make a joke about it? Gump Worsley could have twirled her better than this.
Yeah, I guess. I guess
you're going to prison.
Yeah, well, my Debbie Thomas column from Calgary in '88, when I accused her of skating like a drunken sailor, would have probably not.
That's not in the Olympic spirit you'd learned.
No, it was not in the Olympic spirit.
What a bunch of BS. Poor Lavelle. I didn't know he had to cover that. Why didn't he smart enough to say no?
92 was Walker. Was Herschel on the bobsled.
Okay, that was okay. I wasn't there then. I didn't do 92.
Was it
92 was
Norway?
Albertville. 94 was Lillehammer.
Lillehammer.
I loved Lillehammer. Lillehammer.
Where do they get
great.
the urine? From De
Wolves.
Wolves.
From De Wolves. But Lillehammer, the Norwegians were great, man. The only thing wrong was when they wanted take pictures of my friend Mike Preston because he was black. They hadn't seen a black guy. After about 4 days, he says, I'm getting sick of this BS. Yeah, so. Anyhow, I have no interest. I don't even, it's not even worth giving out primetime preview.
Oh, no. Come on.
I don't know how to give out primetime preview anymore. Well, I guess if I'm doing
You could do it next Monday.
You got to do the math.
This Friday.
If I'm doing
I'm not here this Friday.
If I'm doing the hits with, I do the hits with Phil and
Judd.
Judd at like 9:30 in the morning. Some of the stuff will be over,
But
right?
I thought primetime preview had evolved to the Twitter sphere.
Oh, yeah, we can do that in primetime. Oh, we'll have primetime preview on Twitter. Yeah.
So the Twins are thinking about, by the way, they want to go now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the U.S. Soccer, if you were waiting to see you don't have to wait any longer.
Oh, God, did you make my wife mad? She loves watching the swim. She likes swimming and all the track events because she was a runner. Mm-hmm. And so when you would do that, she would say, tell him to stop giving out the results. I want to watch that tonight.
What? Today, Declan was talking about he's got an uncle I think it was an uncle, doesn't have any modern communications whatsoever.
Oh, really?
And he tapes everything on a DVR. And he sits there last night and he's just all worked up watching the Bengals and the Chiefs. He has no idea who won, he couldn't find out if he wanted to, really, unless he wanted to watch the news or something.
Why didn't he watch it when it was on?
I think he had other things to do or something. He probably out chopping wood or some damn thing for his wood burning stove.
It's being reported to me that there has been a stabbing in California.
Oh, no.
An actress, Reusse.
Not Reese Witherspoon?
What?
Reese Witherspoon?
No, with a knife.
I saw it coming, so I just kept my mouth shut. That's so pathetic. It's just so pathetic.
This is my favorite joke the last 3 days.
You get the Reusse double gun,
I
Sam.
am,
You got a double salute.
Yeah, I dived right into that.
I did too the first time he told me.
Big fat senile.
With a knife, but she's
jackass.
okay now. Don't worry. It's
Ruck, I don't know a bleeping
You know,
berry.
you're taking advantage of a guy.
yes.
You're taking advantage of a guy who until he was age 75, I never forgot my billfold when I left the house.
Okay.
And I have done it once a week, including this morning when I went to buy some ceiling light bulbs or something.
Did you have to bring the old light bulb with you into the store so you get
I
the right
did. The wife. Now these were one of the canister that you put in the ceiling.
Yeah.
I was not going to trust myself.
Okay.
No.
I need this.
I did. And then I got there and I said, hey, I forgot my billfold. Find me 8 of these. I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I got there and they only had 6. So I sold them out of them. Frattallone's, who's
There
no
you go.
longer Frattalone. Is he no longer having?
Oh, God, no. He's still part of the show.
No, but isn't he selling?
Yeah, they sold the company, but Mike is still an employee.
He's retained a role.
Oh, the old the old consultant. I'm making just as much money as I used to, and now I sold it.
Actually, he told us on the show that he and I do together, formerly known as The Beer Show, and he said, this stinks. I work more now that I don't own the company than I did when I did own the company.
He could order people, right?
Yes.
He's not ordering anymore, right?
Well, no, he is. Apparently, there is a massive transition that they have to go through with the previous.
These are a bunch of foreigners.
No, their company is based out of Tennessee, I believe.
That's virtually foreigners.
Yeah.
Well,
right,
okay,
yeah.
sure, I guess.
Well, anyway, I was, but I will say the Frattalone staff had the proper light bulbs waiting for me.
Yes, caller, go ahead, please.
Yes. Hey, I got a quick one for you.
All right.
There has been a stabbing with a spoon.
What happened?
We don't know where, but it's out west. And it's this. Wait.
No.
There's been a stabbing. We're not sure of what the implement is because we don't know their last name yet. So,
What was the first name?
Reusse.
Why didn't I see that one coming?
Was it Reese Witherspoon?
No, it was with a knife. But I'm not sure where. See you later.
Okay.
All right. With that, Joe's
We
got to
gotta
go to the bank. All right.
We'll see ya.
Goodbye.